A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a shocking turn of events, hundreds of state workers at the Minnesota Department of Human Services have publicly denounced Governor Tim Walz, claiming he allowed a massive fraud scandal to unfold under his administration. This scandal, known as the Feeding Our Future fraud case, has reportedly siphoned over $1 billion in taxpayer money, marking it as the largest COVID-19 fraud case in the United States. The allegations were voiced through the Minnesota DHS employee's official social media account, which represents more than 480 staff members. They assert that Walz is 100% responsible for massive fraud in Minnesota and accuse him of retaliating against whistleblowers who attempted to report the fraud. The employees stated, "We let Tim Walz know of fraud early on, hoping for a partnership in stopping fraud. But no, we got the opposite response." Instead of addressing the concerns, they claim Walz responded with a campaign of intimidation and suppression against those who dared to speak out. The Feeding Our Future nonprofit, established in 2016, claimed to provide food aid to school children, but has been implicated in a scheme that involved billing the state for services that were never rendered. Prosecutors allege that the funds were instead funneled into luxury items and overseas real estate projects. In recent months, federal prosecutors have charged nearly 80 individuals connected to this fraud scheme, with at least 59 convictions secured to date. The fraud has been described as a widespread issue, targeting Minnesota's generous social safety net, particularly involving individuals from the Somali community, which constitutes a significant demographic in the state. Minnesota is home to approximately 80,000 Somali Americans, and the employee's social media account indicated that there was a reluctance within the leadership to act against fraud for fear of appearing discriminatory. The scandal has drawn national attention, including criticism from former President Donald Trump, who labeled Minnesota as a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. In response, Governor Walz defended his administration, stating, "I take responsibility for putting people in jail," while dismissing Trump's comments as an attempt to deflect blame. He emphasized the distinction between fraud and corruption, suggesting that Trump is familiar with the latter. The Minnesota DHS employee's account further criticized Walz for undermining the office of the legislative auditor and failing to implement necessary safeguards. They claimed that the administration's actions resulted in a cascade of systemic failures that allowed the fraud to proliferate. As the scandal continues to unfold, the employees are appealing for federal assistance to combat the fraud, stating, "We can't fight fraud in Minnesota alone." Governor Walz, who launched his campaign for a third term in September, faces a challenging political landscape as he navigates the fallout from this scandal. With no term limits in place for Minnesota governors, Walz's bid for re-election could be significantly impacted by these serious allegations and the ongoing investigations into the fraud that has rocked the state's social services system. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.